Hey, Grande Live. Glad you're with us today. I'm Brent Clapp, the owner of LaGrandeLive.tv, and we're here to have a conversation with John Bozarth. And I'm really appreciate you coming in and talking with us. I want to mention our sponsors, Northwest Furniture and Mattress, North Marketplace Family Foods, Valley Realty, and Grand Ron Hospital. Sure appreciate our sponsors. So, hey. I'm glad that we finally connected.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Brent. I really appreciate it.
It's like some of the people are like knocking on the door. Hey, when are you going to get John in there to talk? And so thanks a lot for coming in and talking.
It's a great opportunity.
Good. So, I mean, a lot of you've been in the Valley a long time. A lot of people know you, but for those people who might not know you, might not be familiar with, just kind of give me your life story in a little short.
Yeah, in about 2 seconds. We've lived here for about 40 years, Brent, and during that time I had my own tire business. Finally had to get out of that and went to work for Lynch Motors selling cars. When they moved up to merge with Goss Motors, then I retired. So I've been retired now, I think, for about 8 years, although it doesn't seem like that, but having a good time.
Well, good. And so the politics side, how did that all start?
You know, it started, it's the easiest thing in the world to criticize from the outside, and I was one of those, and so I figured, if I really wanted to be involved, I had to get involved. And so I started out on the Planning Commission many years ago, served a term. Then I was elected or appointed to the Budget Committee. And then after that, I decided to run for City Council for the first time. And so then I served on the council for about 6.5 years.
So when was that? When did you first start?
Oh, gee, dates. I'm not very good at dates. I think I ran for the council in 2000.
Okay.
For the first time, 2001, somewhere in there, yeah. So then after 6.5 years, I resigned, personal reasons, and then decided to run again about 3 or 4 years later. And so now I've been on for 6 years this time, so.
Well, good. And that's kind of how I've gotten to know you, because I videotape those monthly meetings.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. And so it's good to be able to talk to you like this, and we've kind of spitball short conversations. This might be the longest conversation we've ever had, but
that's good.
So you've been, I guess the natural question is you've been on the city council for all those years. Why mayor now? Why are you running for that position?
Well, I think the current mayor and I just have some opposing views on a couple of issues I feel that are very vital to the future of LaGrande. One of those being economic development, and the other recreational marijuana. And I think that we have opposing views on both of those. I read his, I think maybe his interview in the newspaper, where he would like to put a moratorium on urban renewal. Well, urban renewal has been a godsend for us as far as I'm concerned, and economic development. We're competing with every community our size in the world practically, and we have to have some incentives, and Urban Renewal has been able to do that for us. It's a great tool. We've got some great projects going now, with Family Foods opening here within a week or two probably. The Liberty Theater that we've got going. We've got a pub going to open in a couple of months over on Washington at the old firehouse. And we've got a building down on Adams that was really a blight, that Gus Chachas is turning into a boutique hotel. So most of those projects would not happen, especially the family food store, without the participation of Urban Renewal. Now, in light of what we hear from Hot Lake, that with the Veterans Rehabilitation Center out there and the aquaculture project and the possibility of creating about 200 jobs, we have to make LaGrande a very vital downtown, and a vibrant downtown. So I want to continue with that. We've got momentum going now. We certainly don't want to stop. This is not the time to stop.
So tell me, let me take this opportunity. Tell us how Urban Renewal works. What's the concept? I mean, there's a lot of confusion around it. I mean, can kind of put it in a snapshot for us so that we understand it?
It's going to be very difficult to put it in
Okay,
a snapshot.
yeah.
Okay,
But the concept is that you're
Urban-
taking
yeah.
taxes and shifting them, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Urban Renewal was formed in 99, 2000.
Okay.
I wasn't on the council at that time. But the purpose of it, they formed the district and the boundaries of the district.
Okay.
And then froze the tax base at that time so that any property taxes as of that date still go to the city, county, and school district and all the smaller districts. Any increase in value from then on would go to the Urban Renewal District, and
Okay.
that's how we get our funding.
I see, okay.
So some people, I think, thought that there was a length of time that we would have, which is not the case. It's Urban Renewal has a certain amount of dollars that we can borrow as long as we have the cash flow from the taxes from the year 2000 on.
And that money is matched, correct, by somebody else, or no? Or is that
No, not
okay?
at all. No,
So it's
no.
just that's part of my confusion. So then that money on the increase, that tax on the increase, is available to be spent within that district on
Only within that district, yes.
on specific type projects.
Exactly. And those guidelines and objectives were written up in 99, 2000 when they formed it.
Okay.
And every project that's been done so far has fallen within those guidelines.
Okay.
No
So-
doubt.
so-
let me
Go
mention
ahead.
one thing, if I may, Brent. Due to the confusion about urban renewal and a lot of questions that are being asked, with the help of Rod Sands, we've developed a review committee for urban renewal. And we've gotten just to the point now, I think, where we're going to meet next week with the entire council and the Urban Renewal Advisory Commission, tell them what we've done, how to explain this, and then we will have public forums, meetings for the public, to
Okay.
come and ask those questions and see if we can explain it a heck of a lot better.
Okay. So the critiques of urban renewal, what do they not like about it, and what would be your response to that?
I think the biggest thing is that people don't really understand it. What we're doing, just like the market food store, the grocery store here, people think that we've given them $500,000 and a developer's put that in his pocket and run to Southern California. Well, that's really not the case. The project was originally designed to be about $1.5 million project where Urban Renewal would participate with $500,000 and he would put in $1 million. So far, he's put in about $1.8 million, I think, into this beautiful grocery store right next to your studio here,
Right.
which I think is going to be a great asset and maybe an anchor
I
to
do too.
downtown.
Yeah.
And it's to start with, I've talked to Troy, the owner of the grocery store, and he's indicated to me that to start with, they'll have 10 full-time jobs and 6 part-time jobs just to start. So that's a great asset to our community. Will we ever get that money back? That's sort of an intangible. I do believe that the property taxes on this building, which was empty, could be considered blight, nothing going on, but the property taxes probably double. So we're going to get some of that money back. But we've created jobs, we've put an anchor in downtown, create more traffic for downtown, help other businesses, retain other businesses, and help them expand. So we've done a lot of projects like that. I know we've done with the Liberty Theater. We've helped them with $150,000 to buy that building that they are now, and what an asset that's going to be to the community when it's completed, and they're just going great guns on that project. When we talk about the house down on Adams,
Right.
which nobody seems to have any problems with that project because
Right.
it was true blight, and it's going to be a great, Gus is really going to fix that up nice.
Right.
But we've had several projects like that throughout the community. Some people say, well, we're picking and choosing losers. I don't think so. Or winners, picking and choosing winners. I don't think so. It's what the Urban Renewal District was designed to do, and we're following it to the letter.
So, and I guess the big question is for, almost most cities like us, our size, in a rural community, all have the same types of issues. They're trying to revitalize their downtown.
They are.
They're trying to make it look better and so on and so forth. And so I think the question comes up, so then if you don't do urban renewal, what choice is there?
Well, we've had comments, throughout the years that we're not doing anything, and that we turn away big box stores such as Home Depot and Cabela's, and we didn't get the Walmart distribution center and things like that. We're sort of ludicrous as far as I'm concerned. We'd never turn down anything, that would create jobs or any kind of thing in our community like that. And I've never seen it, where we've done things like that, especially when I've been on the council. So how do you incentivize people then to invest their money in a community? I think we've developed a environment now with urban renewal where businesses are expanding, and coming up with new ideas and new projects, and we're attracting new businesses. Market being one of them for sure.
Right.
See, without that incentive, though, I don't think we'd be doing anything, or without creating that environment. I've lived here for 40 years, like I said, and I've seen more development in the last 5 years than I probably saw in the other 35 years combined. So would some of those projects that we've done in the past, in the last 5 years, been done without urban renewal? Maybe. But I know that we've lost some that we didn't fund.
Okay.
So that didn't materialize. That would have been great assets to us, in the community.
So back to the mayor's race.
Mm-hmm.
So then the primary thing that you see the difference between you and Steve is you mentioned the issue of recreational marijuana and the support of urban renewal.
Right. Yeah, he's indicated, that he, at the work session or the retreat that the council has in January, that he'd like to put a moratorium on urban renewal funding. And like I said, if you do something like that when you've got the momentum going now, why would you want to stop that? I mean, that to me is just not the right path to follow as far as I'm concerned. As far as recreational marijuana, I'm totally against that. Other people have other ideas, and that's fine too. I don't think we want to be labeled as the hub of marijuana in Eastern Oregon, by no means. I know they've got recreational marijuana in Huntington, and if they want to go there, fine.
Yeah.
The other thing is, people have talked a lot about the revenue that you might get from marijuana. I've talked to the police chief, and we have a lot of problems with alcohol. People that abuse alcohol, and the problems that they run into, and we get revenue from the state for the liquor tax. He says that doesn't even come close to covering the man hours that they have to work on with abuse and alcohol. So why would we want to add something else?
Right.
So I know almost for a fact that the money that we would get would certainly not cover the extra hours and the problems that they would encounter with recreational marijuana.
So, and in full disclosure, I totally agree. I am not a recreational marijuana. I'm not in favor of that. But the reality is that we can see the train coming.
Sure.
So then the question becomes, how do you, the critics of your position and my position would say, well, what's the difference between that and alcohol? And
yeah, I like that argument.
Yeah.
I really do, Brent. And the reason being is that they say, that marijuana is no worse than alcohol. Well, if alcohol is a bad thing, which I'm not saying it is or isn't, then why would we want to add something else that's bad to our community? That to me doesn't make that's not much of an argument, I don't think.
And I don't disagree with that. But I guess what I'm wondering but like I said, it is coming. The train is coming, and so
not
then,
arguing the point.
And so then from a mayor standpoint is, well, then how do we manage that?
Well, I think we've directed our planning department, Mike Boquist, to look into zoning. If that happens,
because the state has not given any instruction on zoning, right?
No. So he's looking into that right now. So that would be one step that we would certainly have in place. where you can grow marijuana, where we would have outlets or whatever, so.
So, well.
But I would always vote against it, I'll tell you that much. I'm only one of 7 people on the council.
Right.
No more power in my vote or the mayor's vote than anybody else's.
Yeah. Well, and it's such a highly paid position too, right?
It is. Yeah, we get $70 a month now. If I'm elected mayor, that increases to $90 a month. That's a $20 a month raise, and I'll buy you a cup of coffee.
All right,
Brent, you're on.
Well, John, I appreciate you taking the time to come in and
been great.
Now there's going to be this Thursday here in Grande at the middle school. You and Steve are going to be in the same room and talking about some of these issues. Is that?
Yes. The newspaper's putting it on, I think, with a couple other sponsors.
Yeah, with LaGrandeLive.tv?
Good.
We're webcasting
I'm sorry.
it. Yeah, okay.
The main
That's
man. Yes, and then Mark Davidson and Donna Beveridge will be
Right.
there also.
Yes, yeah.
So, yes. And, they've given us some questions that they might ask, and then we'll also take questions from the audience. So,
Cool.
Sure.
Well, and I think that'll be an interesting forum.
I think so.
Yeah.
I've done it before.
Good.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well, hey, thanks so much, John.
Oh, Brent. Thank you. Appreciate it.
I really appreciate it. And thanks, LaGrandeLive.tv, for tuning in and being a part of this. Be sure and be a part of the Thursday night debate.
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock it's at the middle school if you want to show up in person there, but also if you want to view it on LaGrande, it's going to be on LaGrandeLive.tv's Facebook page and our website, and also on the Observer Facebook page. And again, we want to mention our sponsors. Thanks for Northwest Furniture and Mattress, Marketplace Family Foods, Valley Realty, and Grand Ron Hospital.
Brent, can I mention
Yes,
one more
yes.
thing? Yeah. Like I was telling you before we started this, I don't Twitter and I don't Facebook and I don't text and everything, but I would like to give my cell phone number out, if I may.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 541-786-4094. And if anybody has any questions at all, please don't hesitate to call me. I got a lot of free time.
Excellent.
Thank
and
you.
I can testify that John likes to talk. Yeah, he likes to gab. So, all right. Well, hey, thanks a bunch, and appreciate you tuning in.